Guys, we're going to be reading Mr. Macky is Wacky by Dan Gutman, chapters 1 through 5. My name is AJ, and I hate school. Man, I wish I was a grown-up. Grown-ups are so lucky. They don't have to go to school. If I was a grown-up, you know what grown-up I would be? I would be the President of the United States. And you know what I would want to do if I was President of the United States? I would close all the schools. Then kids wouldn't have to go to school anymore. That's what I want to do. But until I become president, I guess I'll have to keep going to school. Bummer in the summer. It was crazy pet day at elementary school. So kids who had crazy pets brought them in to show to the class. My friend Ryan brought in his hermit crab. This girl named Annette brought in her bird, which if you ask me isn't crazy at all. I don't have a crazy pet. I just have a dog, which isn't crazy at all. I wish I had a penguin. Penguins are cool, but my parents won't get me one. Because they live in Antarctica, and that is not my parents. My parents live at home with me. Eek! Screamed this girl, Emily, who cries over everything. A rat! It wasn't a rat. It was a pet ferret that belonged to Neil Crouch, who we called Neil the new kid, even though he wears clothes. But it did look a little bit like a rat. A long rat. What's your ferret's name? I asked. Neil the new kid, as I looked in his cage. The ferret's cage, that is, not Neil's. He doesn't live in a cage. He lives in a house with his parents. His name is Mr. Wiggles. Clap, 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 clap. Clapped our teacher, Miss Daisy. That's her signal that we have to stop talking. We learn all about your crazy pet slaters, but first, I have big news. Miss Daisy said she has a big nose. I whispered to my friend Michael. He crackled up. Do you have something you'd like to share with the rest of us? Miss Daisy asked. No, the big news is that President's Day is coming up next week, said Miss Daisy. What's President's Day? Somebody asked. I have no idea, said Miss Daisy, who doesn't know anything. Maybe one of you kids can tell the class what makes President's Day special. I raised my hand. So did Andrea Young, this really annoying girl with curly brown hair. She was waving her hand in the air, like always. Andrea thinks she knows everything, but Miss Daisy called on me instead. So na boo boo on Andrea. President's Day is a special because we get a day off from school. And anytime we get a day off from school, it's special. Everybody laughed, even though I didn't say anything funny. Gee, I'm not sure that's right, AJ, said Miss Daisy. Can anyone else tell us what makes President's Day special? Andrea and Emily were waving their hands in the air and moaning. Ooh, they were dying. They are so annoying. But Miss Daisy called on Michael, who never ties his shoes. President's Day is special because that's the day big TV screens go on sale. My dad is going to buy one, a really big one. Big TV screens are cool, I told Michael. The only thing better than watching TV is watching a big screen TV. Hey, Ryan whispered to Michael, can me and AJ come over to your house and watch your big screen TV? Sure, you should get a screen so big that it's bigger than your house, I suggested. That's impossible. It won't even fit in the house, Michael said. Who needs a house? I said. You could just live inside the TV. Always coming up with genius ideas like that. That's why I'm in the gifted and talented program. Enough chit chat, said Miss Daisy. I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me why President's Day is special. Nobody else raised their hand. So Miss Daisy called on Miss Smarty Pants. I know more than you. Why can't a bunch of presidents fall on her head? President's Day is the day we honor. Andrea never got to finish her sentence because at that very moment, the most amazing thing in the history of the world happened. I'm not going to tell you what it was. Okay, I'll tell you. But you'll have to wait to read the next chapter. So na boo boo on you. Chapter 2. Mr. Mackey's Fake Beard. Haha, I knew you'll keep reading. While Andrea was telling us why President's Day was special, this tall, skinny guy walked in class. He was wearing a dark suit, a big hat, and a really fake beard, holding a can of chicken noodle soup. It's Abraham Lincoln, shouted Emily, who looked like she just saw a famous rock star or something. He's my favorite president. I slapped my head. That girl Emily will fall for anything. Abraham Lincoln died like 100 years ago, dumbhead, I told her. You're mean, Emily said. Then she started crying and went running out of the room. What a crybaby. All I did was call her a dumbhead, which she is. Everybody knew the guy in the hat and beard was Mr. Macky, the reading specialist at elementary school. You're Mr. Macky, Neil the new kid shouted. No, I'm not, Mr. Macky said in his really fake low voice. The young lady was correct. My name is Abraham Lincoln. When I was a boy, I lived in a log cabin. We were so poor that I had to write on a shovel by candlelight. You're not Abraham Lincoln, we all yelled. You're Mr. Macky. Okay, I thought I could fool you. Mr. Macky pulled off his hat and fake beard and tossed them on the floor. That's when the most amazing thing happened in the history of the world. Emily came back in the room. Well, that wasn't the amazing part. Emily comes back in the room all the time. The amazing part was when she came back and stepped on Mr. Mackey's fake beard. Eek! She screamed. A rat! Emily slipped and fell. She was on the floor freaking out. It was hilarious. We were all cracking up. That's not a rat, I told Emily. It's just Mr. Mackey's fake beard, dumbhead. Emily started crying and running out of the room again. She's real. Chapter 3. If you read this, you'll go blind. Mr. Mackey was reading that soup can he brought into our class. I love to read, don't you? Yeah, said all the girls. No, said all the boys. Mr. Mackey is always trying to get us to read. What is his problem? Doesn't he know reading is a big bore? Why are you even reading this book? If I were you, I'd be doing something worthwhile, like watching a big screen TV. The only books worth reading are Dr. Seuss books. He was cool. My friend Billy, who lives around the corner, told me that if you read too much, you'll go blind. Homework involves a lot of reading, so I'll stay on the safe side. I'm going to stop doing my homework so I won't go blind. Mr. Mackey, why do you have a can of chicken noodle soup? Asked Michael. I was reading the label, he said. Reading can take you on a journey. So can watching TV, I said. Yes, but you learn so much more by reading because you can use your imagination. I'll read anything. But what can you learn from a, a soup can? Asked Ryan. I learned that chickens have noodles, said Mr. Mackey. Chickens have fingers too, said Michael. My mom gives me chicken fingers for lunch all the time. Chickens have nuggets too, I added. They do not, said Andrea. Do too, I told her. Do not. We went back and forth like that for a while. Let's discuss chickens some other time, said Miss Daisy. I think Mr. Mackey is here to talk about President's Day. Right, right you are, said Mr. Mackey. I had an idea to promote reading at elementary school. In celebration of President's Day, we're going to read all about presidents. We're going to learn a lot. Each of you is going to give an oral report. Oral means mouth. So an oral report comes out of your mouth. Only gifted and talented kids know hard words like that. So you'll even get to dress up as your president. The whole school will be involved. Doesn't that sound fun? Yeah, said all the girls. No, said all the boys. Why is it that girls always want to read books, learn stuff, give reports, and play dress up? What is their problem? Girls are weird. How come we never celebrate anything by sitting around and watching big screen TVs? I think that's a great idea, said Miss Daisy, a girl, of course. I don't know anything about presidents. Of course not. Miss Daisy doesn't know anything. I can't believe she got a job as a teacher. I think it's a great idea too, said Andrea, the big brown noser. When did you get this great idea, Mr. Mackey? 7 years ago, he replied. I can't wait to get on my oral report, Andrea said, all excited. I'm going to work really hard and do the best job I can. Can you possibly be any more boring? I have to go now because I have lots of things to read. I have to read a newspaper, then I have to read the back of a cereal box, then I have to read the graffiti in the bathroom, then I have to read the phone book. That guy sure loves reading. He's weird. Chapter 4. Abraham Lincoln's Face. Who can tell us something about the real Abraham Lincoln? Miss Daisy asked after Mr. Mackey left with his hat and beard. Lincoln rhymes with stinkin'. True. Abraham Lincoln's face is on the penny, said Andrea. That's right, said Miss Daisy. Andrea looked all proud of herself. I hate her. He should take that penny off his face. I said, no, Andrea, I mean his face is on the penny. How did he glue the penny on his face? With glue? That's disgusting. I won't put glue on my face. He probably was trying to cover up his pimples. When my big sister has pimples, she won't even go outside. Enough chit-chat, said Miss Daisy, clapping her hands again. Let's look at our crazy pets now. I'll still say Abraham Lincoln was weird to put pennies on his face. We took some of the animals out of their cages and looked at them. Ryan told us about his hermit crab. Hermit crabs are really boring. They don't do anything. You can hardly even tell when they die. They do the same stuff dead. What they did alive. Nothing. Hermit crabs are weird. Annette told her about her bird. It was boring too, because it didn't talk or anything. Only cool birds are the ones that talk. Neil, the new kid, told us about his ferret. He said ferrets have really bad eyesight and they poop when they get excited. We all said We'll try not to get Mr. Wiggles excited. Everybody thought he was cool, even if he looked sort of disgusting. Emily said she's allergic to the ferret's fur and made her cough and rub her eyes. Ferrets are gross anyway, she said. Mr. Wiggles looks sort of a rat. I was going to say, so does your face, but Emily would probably run out of the room crying again. Then I had to go to the principal's office. Besides, she was right. Mr. Wiggles did look like a long rat. But if you ask me, ferrets are cool. Not as cool as penguins, but they're still cool. Chapter 5. George Washington's Face. We are having fun learning about our crazy pets. But guess who suddenly walked into the door? Nobody, because if you walked into a door, you would hurt your head. But guess who walked into the class? It was some funny-looking guy dressed up in a fancy army uniform. He had a white wig on his head and a sword on his head. "It's George Washington," said Miss Daisy. She stood up and gave him a salute. We all knew it wasn't George Washington. It was just Mrs. Rupee, our librarian. She's always pretending to be someone else. One time she pretended to be Johnny Appleseed, and she walked all around all day with a pot on her head. I still don't understand why you have to wear a pot on your head to plant apples. Miss Rupee is Loopy. You're not George Washington, we all shouted. You're Mrs. Rupee, the librarian. You must be mistaken, Miss Rupee said in a low voice. I was the first president of the United States. I cannot tell a lie. I chopped down a cherry tree. I have wooden teeth. See? Miss Rupee took out her teeth. It was disgusting. I was glad she put those gross teeth back in her mouth. I came to tell everyone that when you come to the library, you'll find lots of books about me and other presidents too, said Miss Rupee. They'll help you prepare for President's Day oral reports. I wish I could hang around and tell you more, but I must go fight the British. She ran out of the room. That was totally Mrs. Rupee, said Ryan. After Miss Rupee left, Miss Daisy asked, who can tell us something about the real George Washington? His face is on the dollar bill, said little Miss. See how smart I am, Miss Andrea? That's right. I'm so proud. Andrea looked all proud of herself. He should take that dollar bill off his face. I said, no, I mean his face is on the dollar bill. I knew perfectly well what Andrea meant. I was just yanking her chain. How could George Washington fight the British with that dollar bill on his face? Yeah, why didn't he just carry the dollar bill in his wallet like a normal person? Enough chit-chat. It's time for reading, Miss Daisy told us. Let's read a book about my favorite author, Dr. Seuss. She read us a story called Yertle the Turtle. It was pretty cool, but I'd say George Washington is weird.